Welcome to Cooking with Fiona, Season 2, Episode 4. Today we're cooking chicken Parmesan stuffed peppers, any color. So I have 4 yellow and red and orange pepper all cut up, and I've taken the seeds out and I've taken out the white membrane there. So it's all ready. We have to bake it in the oven, so the oven is hot at 400 degrees. So let's start. So we're going to start with 2 cups of shredded chicken, which I have prepared. And by the way, this is a very, very easy recipe. Very easy indeed. And then you put 1.5 cups of marinara sauce. And the marinara sauce, again, is yummy. It's just delicious. So I have here a 1/2 cup of Parmesan, which I'm going to put half of that because not half of it, I'm going to save a little bit for sprinkling on top. And then 2 cups of mozzarella, grated mozzarella cheese. Again, I'm going to save some for sprinkling on top after we bake it. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of parsley that I've grew in my garden, or my husband grew, I should say, and all chopped up, and 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper, nice and hot enough, I should say, and a teaspoon of garlic powder. So you basically mix all that up and stir it all up. It doesn't call for a little salt and pepper, but I'm going to put a little salt and pepper because I always think it needs a little flavor. Not a lot. Just a little bit. Tra-la-la. So, today we have a surprise guest. And he's a lovely young gentleman. And he works in our appraisal department. His name is Phil Matthews. He is a senior valuer, and has joined our team at Bermuda Realty, Coldwell banker, in January 22. So I would like to welcome Phil Matthews. Come on over, Phil. And what we're going to do, Phil, how are you this lovely day?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, thank you for coming. Phil is from Wales, so he speaks beautifully like a sing-song. I love your accent. I think it's fantastic. So Phil is going to talk about appraisals, what type of appraisals he does. He values residential property and he values commercial property. So there's different types of appraisals that you do. So would you like to talk about that? That would be great.
Yes, I certainly would. Well, essentially when we do appraisals, we try and find the market value of the property.
Right.
There's different purposes and reasons why people want appraisals. So essentially, start with what most people will be aware of is that we provide a market value for sale.
Right.
So if somebody wanted to sell their property, they could choose to have an appraisal done to find out what to list the property for.
Right. So that's a good market value. That's
yes.
why I come to you.
Yes.
Or I do it myself, but generally I come to you.
Alternatively, we would provide an appraisal for somebody who wants to buy a property to see if they put a bid in for the property is the right level.
Right.
We also do appraisals for banks and individuals to lend against. So if they want to go to the bank and lend money,
right, they can borrow from that property, and you give a value for it.
The bank will want to know what the value of the house is,
right,
or apartments, in order to lend
right.
money.
So you also do appraisals for probate. So
yes.
should someone pass away and the property, this is really where you come into play, in many ways, but you have to appraise that property to get a value for probate. And we did talk about probate in our January with Hill DeFrias. So
right. Yes.
There we go. So you talk about the value and how you come to a value for probate.
Well, Fiona, when I appraise a property for probate purposes,
right.
it's essentially the same as market value, because that's what I'm trying to achieve. But the difference is that we are valuing the property on a specific date, which is the date of death. So we could end up having me valuing a property which is 2 years ago, 3 years ago, even 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So the value of the property is the value what it is today, or
No.
yes, or 10 years ago, let's
It would
say.
be the date of death.
The date of death.
Yes. So we.
A lot of people just don't know that, I must say.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a great bit of information that you're passing on to everybody, and much appreciated. Thank you.
Right.
So also you appraise commercial buildings.
Yes, we do. Yes.
So you get a massive 20,000 square foot commercial building, and you appraise that.
Yes, we do. There's a slight difference in commercial and residential properties.
Right. So what's the difference? Help me with that.
Well,
not really.
With the residential properties, which are generally not multi-units, we would do it in a comparable method.
Right.
Look at some transactions, sales transactions.
Right.
But when there's an income generating asset,
Right.
we would generally look at both methods of a comparable method and an income approach method.
Right. And it's the comparable sold that you look at.
Yes.
Or
it
the
is.
comparable on the market. The comparable sold.
We would look at the comparable sold.
Yeah.
Then we would look at what hasn't sold, but what's on the market.
Right.
And just to see what's available, because we want to know whether there's a lot of inventory
Right.
or whether there's not a lot of inventory.
Yeah. So it's a very tricky, dicky little process, actually. It's a fine-tuned process, I would say.
Yeah, it's pulling lots of information and building a picture.
Right. Right.
We do a lot of appraisals for trusts.
Right.
So on a regular basis, properties held in a trust have to be revalued.
Right. So why trust? So you appraise a property for trust, for the trustees to...
Well, we appraise the properties within the trust, so they can have an up-to-date value of their assets.
Right. So it's all about the up-to-date on the assets for the trustees and the trust.
Yes.
Perfect. So what about when you have voluntary conveyance? Can you talk about that?
Certainly. When a family member or a person in Bermuda transfers an asset, voluntarily conveys an asset to a family member,
Right.
They will generally give it for $0.
Right.
So it's a gift. But in Bermuda, when you give a gift to somebody and transfer the asset, it's still counted as a sale, and they have to pay stamp duty on that.
And they pay stamp duty
Yes.
on that. So it's a very intricate deal that you're situation that you're working with in appraisals. So it's a very intricate position that you have, actually, as an appraiser. It's very fine-tuned, and there's a lot of equations to this that make up appraisals.
Yeah, it's building a picture up and having if you come
good.
Yeah, if you come up with a figure.
Good way to explain it, I think.
It is.
Building a picture, that's
Building a
what it's
picture.
all about.
Yeah, and using different variables and different information. And what I would like to say is that the more information you have, the more accurate valuations you can provide.
So what I need you to do is to stuff each one of these peppers with this chicken. How about that? Can you manage that?
I think I'll manage that. Is there a certain technique?
No. And it's okay if it spills over. Yeah, that's looking good. So let's finish it all up, because this is how my mother taught me how to cook. She says, waste not, want not. So I will just finish all that up. And then we actually cover it with tin foil once I put the water in.
Why do we cover it?
Because it sort of steams it that way. And so we just pour about a ½ inch of water. Voila. And then, hold on.
I am learning here.
You're learning. And then we cover it and put it in the oven that's been preheated for 400 degrees.
Okay.
So there we go. So there we go. So that's got to cook for 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then when we take it out, then we sprinkle this Parmesan over, and then we stick it back in the oven, take the aluminum foil off.
Yep.
Do you say aluminum or aluminium?
I say aluminium.
So the red peppers, the yellow peppers, stuffed peppers are already done. And now Phil, this nice man that's helping me here, is going to sprinkle the rest of the mozzarella and the rest of the Parmesan cheese just on top. And then we're going to put it back in the oven for 5 minutes.
I think this is the most important job, isn't it?
Yes, it is. That's a lot of work.
Is that good?
Yep, that's perfect.
Good enough?
That's just perfect. So I'm going to take these stuffed peppers, I'm going to put them back in the oven for 5 minutes. So we'll let those cook and grilled off. So I hope that you have learned a whole lot, and there is a whole lot about appraising and how to appraise and and the different facets of appraising. And Phil's been most informative, and I seriously, sincerely appreciate you coming to Cooking with Fiona. It's been a great asset. Thank you. If you need an appraisal, Phil is the man. He is fantastic. He's a senior valuer. He's been with our team, as I said in the beginning, since January 22. He loves what he does. And he's really superb at it. And you can connect with him if you need to. You can connect with me. 534-9932, or text me on that number, and I'll refer you to Phil. He is absolutely superb at what he does. There you go. There you go. So this is all done and dusted, and Phil, thank you again for coming and sharing this cooking with me. I hope you've learned a little bit. I've had fun with you indeed. And so what would you like to say? I'm going to spoon this up.
Oh, well, Fiona, I'm just like to say thank you for having me and teaching me how to cook stuffed peppers.
Remember, you don't have to have chicken in it. If you want to cook fish, you can.
You can.
I had no idea he was a non-fish, non-meat eater, but that's fine. You can use fish, you can use shrimp, you can use whatever you like.
Shrimp's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So, thanks again, and there we go.
I hope that me coming on the show has sort of taught or given a few ideas to people why they want appraisals. And if you do need appraisals, then please contact Fiona or myself, and we'll be able to help.
Yes, absolutely. And don't forget, my number is 534-9932. And call me. I'd love to help you. I'll direct you to Phil because I think he does a superb job. So these are the finished product. Let's sprinkle some parsley over like you would your loving man.
Let me give you a hand here.
There we go, thank you. So just dress it. And that's it. Voila.
Done.
Done. Thank you. Thank you for joining me and Phil. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye for now. See you soon.
Please call Fiona Hatfield on 534-9932 or email at fhatfield@brcl.bm.